Hello everyone, welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you're having a great day. If you've been watching Larry's Anything Goes programming, you know that we are not only providing great financial intelligence content as much as possible by interviewing other financial professionals, professionals in the travel industry, real estate industry, etc. and so forth, but we provide various services when it comes to specific products that we sell, from anything that you would actually find on Amazon or actually at Walmart, etc. and so forth. And we are actually providing specific products due to today's current crisis and whatnot to ensure that we provide the right services and products that you need at a reasonable price when it comes to medical face masks, when it comes to hand sanitizer, and when it comes to latex gloves and things of that nature, and etc. and so forth, toilet paper, paper towels. But we have what you need. Also, family, don't forget that Larry's Anything Goes is a part of an affiliate marketing network known as Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrency and allow others to invest with you as becoming an affiliate marketing partner. And obviously, if they purchase a package with the program, you're able to make money off their package purchases and make money off of their crypto purchases and things of that nature. If you want to join, please follow the links in the description, and I'll give you a call as soon as you sign up and purchase a package, and we'll go from there. But definitely, it's all about the best way to make money moves is to have currency with one another and to ensure that currency is always being spoken of on all levels, so it benefits everyone and not just one specific person. That's a lot of things that people forget about. So think about joining the program and we'll be able to go from there. But if not, either way, it's always appreciated. And thank you for watching, and hopefully you guys have a great day and continuously make money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. Take care. As you can see, with our various products, we have our financial apparel, as you see, wearing There's Anything Goes t-shirt, financial intelligence is sexy, face masks, latex gloves, things of that nature, to obviously ensure the safety of you and your family all at the same time. We want to ensure that you get the best products and see the actual products that we're actually providing for you, and giving you another view of not only the shirts and the medical masks, but actually another view of actual latex gloves and the actual hand sanitizer. Because one thing we've learned throughout this unfortunate crisis is that we have to take more precautionary measures to ensure not only the safety for ourselves, but for our families. And having a great pair of hand sanitizers, latex gloves, and medical face masks will ensure that safety. And with all that being said, hopefully you guys will check out our online store. We have the various products that you see here. With a couple of clicks, especially if you're paying via PayPal, it makes life that much easier for you to purchase our various products, especially during this unfortunate situation. You see the apparel from Larry's Anything Goes. We have the medical products when it comes to hand sanitizer, latex gloves, medical face masks, things of that nature, and various other products. So please check out Larry's Anything Goes. Support small local businesses. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully that you have a good day. How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys having a great and exceptional evening. All right, it's been a minute since I've been live like this on a Tuesday, but I'm getting better at utilizing my lives. And hey, it's all good in the neighborhood. We're gonna make it do what it do, as they say, before I call it a night. So, and it's been since December. I've been off my game. Like I just said to myself yesterday. I said, wait a minute. When's the last time I started doing today's forecast? We're all gonna die back last year in 2022. And I noticed I haven't done one since December, and so many things have happened since December. But I'm going to keep it everything in conjuncture with what's happening today. And if you're not familiar, excuse me, if you're not familiar with the whole theme of today's forecast, we're all going to die. It's in theory, it is not even in theory, in practice, it is basically a way for me to mock the media in a sense because, and I've had this argument with my mother on 1,000 occasions that the news, their job has always been, and it's just gotten worse. Regardless if you watch false news known as Fox News or comedy news known as CNN News, um, they do a great job. They do a great job of reporting the weather, but they do even that's me not being sarcastic, but they do a very exceptional job of scaring the crap out of everybody, and that is definitely me being very sarcastic. All right. So with that being said, and because it's never any positive news, and usually if it is positive news, it'll be about a particular president. I'm not going to do the Democrat Republican nonsense because that's a waste of time, but it's usually a president, and if it's Democrat, then CNN is going to make them look good. If it's a Republican, then Fox News is going to make them look good. So that's just the way the game goes. So I don't got time for that nonsense. And when I want to hear some real practical news, I go on YouTube nowadays because you're not really going to get, you're not going to really going to get anything with these major networks anymore. And they even know that. That's why the viewership is way down, and you got a generation of people that are coming out of high school, coming out of college, who have never watched the news as regular, as my generation and the older generation that's still left. They never watch news by just clicking on the TV and things of that nature. They get their news via social media platforms, and not just the major ones. So that's just another thing to take into consideration. But let's get the show started. As the Black Eyed Peas would say, let's get it started in here. All right. Today's forecast: we're all gonna die. Silicon Valley Bank failure. There's going to be more. Warren's former FDIC chair William Isaac. FDIC, Federal Deposit and Insurance Corporation. They were created after the Great Depression to insure people's assets up to a certain percentage, aka money. If a bank fails, if something happens to the banking system, because after the Great Depression, a lot of people became, especially in the Black community, became very weary of ever putting the money into a bank. Like it was normal for people to keep money in the safes, under their mattress, et cetera, and so forth, because banks had a very, very bad reputation for a long, long time. So that's why a government organization like the FDIC needed to come into existence to make people feel more comfortable, to have some assurances. It's like when you buy a product and you have a warranty or an extended warranty, to ensure that if something happens, because things do happen. That's why you have car insurance. That's why you have life insurance. Unfortunately, and rest in peace to a person I went to high school with. She passed away the other day, and her funeral was today. So I'm not going to mention her name, but rest in peace to her and her family. And like I said, I've seen a lot of death in the last 2 years. So that's why I try to be positive, and that's why I always say, if you ain't bringing positivity in my life, if you ain't bringing no money into my life, if you ain't bringing no good information in my life, then you need to stay the heck out of my life on some realness. Okay, that's where I'm at in my life right now. Okay, it is what it is. But anyways, so I've never heard of this bank until today, and apparently this bank, the Silicon Valley Bank, obviously it is one of those banks that Silicon Valley. I've not been there, but I'm going there this year. Silicon Valley is the big tech hub of the United States of America. It's where the rich and well-to-do live. There's no middle class in that part of California. I think there's more of a middle class in San Diego and Los Angeles than there is anywhere in the Bay Area. The Bay Area is like you can make $200,000 and be living in the poverty line. Like that's how expensive. Like what is it like? rent is no you. I don't think you can find any rent unless you're like getting subsidized housing, anything lower than $4,000 a month. Like it's normal to pay 5 to 10 grand a month in rent, just like in a lot of parts of Miami. It's the same thing. Only difference is you don't have the excessive taxes in Miami, but in New York it's the same thing. DC is becoming the same thing. A lot of major cities are, but the Bay Area, I think there in Hawaii is by far the most expensive parts of the United States to live in. Period. Like it's more expensive to live in San Francisco than it is in New York City. I'm just going. It is what it is. But this is basically a venture capital bank where a lot of because that's the hub of where a lot of people have a lot of startup tech companies, things of that nature. They would go to this specific bank to get access to capital in order because that's what you need. That's why I always say to the politicians, if I don't hear access to capital, then we ain't got nothing to talk about. But you would hear a lot of people, venture capitalists, up and coming people will go to this specific bank to get loans and things of that nature. And it was pretty crazy when this announcement was made on Friday that many fearing a domino effect, despite assurances from the Treasury Secretary, who on Sunday told Face the Nation that the American banking system is really safe and well capitalized. It's resilient. Now, I don't think all the if I was worried about the banking systems in America right now, like I said, I'm not going to act like I'm an economist or anything of that nature. But if I saw Chevy Chase Bank go under, like this bank, Bank of America, who else? Wells Fargo, all Capital One, not Capital One, but can't even think. I got 2 credit cards for this bank, and I can't even remember. Citibank, Jesus. Anyway, yeah, Citibank. If I saw these big banks going under, like back in 2007-8 timeframe, during the too big to fail timeframe, we had Goldman Sachs, AIG, and all those other financial institutions going down, then I'd be worried. But I'm not really worried about this particular bank. Now, I think other banks will possibly disappear. And the only reason why I will say that, not just because of the economic factors that we have going on right now, but I will say that I will say with all sincerity that we are in a time frame where it is a different world right now, and I really cannot stress this enough. We are in a time frame where it is a different world. Okay. And nothing is going to be the same. And like I always say, COVID just intensified what was the inevitable in regards to the job market changing. AI is going to intensify in the next 5 to 10 years. Artificial intelligence, banking as we know it is changing, has intensified and changing. I've actually seen a lot of banks actually close down their doors, not because the bank is in trouble like the Silicon Valley Bank is, but they're just downsizing because they don't need as many branches as they used to. Like I've seen who like Capital One. I remember they closed down one of their banks in my area, and SunTrust they closed down one of their banks in my area. And I've seen a lot of other smaller banks that even just think about the mom and pop banks, the smaller credit union banks, not the major ones like Navy Federal, Penn Fed, which is mostly catered towards the military. But a lot of these other banks, they've either gone out of business or they've been bought out, or like Wachovia, I remember they got bought out by Wells Fargo. That was way long time ago. But so bought outs are happening, and then downsizing is happening, because that's another thing to take into consideration. When you look at the job market, a lot of jobs have disappeared, slowly but surely, mostly in the tech market. But like because basically right now, if you're an electrician or a plumber, there's more demand for you than it is for a tech specialist. If you're a person who works in the medical field, there's more bigger demand for you than a person with a master's degree in whatever. You know what I'm saying? So in biology, or a master's degree in theology and things of that nature. I'm not knocking people that have degrees in those fields, but I'm just talking about the value and the need is more higher for people with skill sets than it is for people with degrees, unless you're getting a degree in medical field, engineering, lawyer, things of that nature, things that are a real necessity. But anyways, among those, nevertheless, expecting more banks to fail, notably, is William Isaac, former chair of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which has been appointed the receiver of the Silicon Valley Bank. He led the FDIC in the early 1980s amid widespread bank failures back in the 80s and high interest rates. Um, and he says, there's no doubt in my mind that there's going to be more. How many more? He says, I don't know. How big? I don't know. Seems to me to be a lot like the 1980s. And a lot of other people like Larry McDonald, founder of the Bear Traps Report, also stated that regional banks could face a contagion risk following the SVB collapse. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, it's mostly the regional banks. Like I said, the bigger banks, I don't think they're in as much trouble, but we do see a sign where if smaller regional banks are quote unquote failing, because the times that we're living in now, people are trying to hold on to as much cash as they can. People are not trying to borrow as much money or any money at all. People can't really afford to buy a new house. People, a lot of people are having to downsize on their living. So a lot of people are, instead of getting an apartment, they're renting out rooms. This is becoming more like, in a sense, like the Great Depression, to where you don't see lines of people in line look at soup kitchens and things of that nature, but you do see people that are kind of getting like people who immigrate to the U.S. for the first time. They are standing the ground in regards to having more people live in a house or an apartment, townhouse, whatever have you. People are downsizing. And me, I've always been a frugal kind of guy. Me personally, I don't need a lot. So, and I remember the statement that I was told 10 years ago to this year. Yep, 2013, and now we're in 2023. And in 2013, a guy who was my elder said, because he downsized from having a 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom apartment to a renting out a basement. And he was like, well, he's like, I noticed the older I get, the less stuff I need. And I'm feeling like 10 years later, I'm feeling that the older I get, the less stuff I need. The thing, when it comes to expensive stuff, I like to be able to just experience life and travel and things of that nature. Maybe even buy an electronic every couple of years. But I'm not Mr. Big Type fancy. You got to spend a lot of money on a lot of nonsense. For me, cutting down my spending is not a big deal, and for a lot of other people, it's becoming the norm. Because like I said, we're living in. I've said this before, and I'll say it again because I remember hearing the statement and doing the research after hearing the statement. But you have places like Morgan Stanley who are buying up residential communities, and we're heading towards a time where possibly, that's not 100% sure, but we're heading to a time possibly where you're going to have generational renters. In big cities like New York, you had generational renters, where in big cities like LA, DC, generational renters. And then once gentrification happened, meaning whoever bought the apartment or bought the homes, they, after they did work, they did a fix and flip, and then they raised the rent of the property and whatnot. And if you ever see that show Insecure, it's a great example of, once the people's leases were up legally, once you've renewed your lease, people's rents went up 5 to 7, even sometimes $1,000. This was based in Inglewood, California. So that's why I always say, if you own real estate in any major city in America right now, I don't care what city it's in, hold on to it, because you might never have this opportunity to do it again. We are living in a time now where a lot of people are not going to ever have the opportunity to buy real estate. Okay. And a lot of institutions see that. So instead of, they know they're not going to make money off of you having a mortgage. So the financial institutions were like, well, hey, we'll just make money off of you paying us rent. Check and mate. All right. Now on that one, that's not a today's forecast, we're all going to die. That's real. So in the next 10 years, if you don't own property, it might be in your best interest to figure out how to own property, even if you have to do a house hacking method in regards to spending a lot of money buying the house, but renting the rooms out, or getting a multifamily, something to that effect, but renting the rooms out so you don't have to worry about, you get your money back while not having to worry about paying the mortgage. Stay in the house for at least 1 year. At least have stuff there. If you don't want to stay in that particular house, at least stay there for a couple of days, have stuff there, have mail delivered there. So, the bank doesn't see, just stay in the house for a year, sacrifice 1 year of your life. It'll be worth it. Trust me. instead of trying to pull the scam. But if you want to do the scam, then that's on you. But I'm not advocating people scamming or breaking the law. But I am going to say that we are living in a time where I don't care if you live in Houston, Texas. I don't care if you live in Miami, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Jackson, Mississippi, um, Biloxi, Mississippi. I don't care if you live in New Orleans, Louisiana, Chicago, Detroit, New York. You know, like most all the coastal cities for the most part now are places, including the South, are places where you're not going to be able to afford to buy property. But even in the middle of America, you can go to Denver, Colorado, it's an overpriced place. Salt Lake City, it's an overpriced place. You go to my other YouTube channel talking about other parts of Utah that I've never even heard of. The only city I really know there is Salt Lake City, but these other major cities overpriced. Indianapolis, Indiana, overpriced. Every metropolitan area, Nashville, Tennessee, and Memphis is going to be right behind them. Overpriced, overpriced, overpriced. There's nowhere you can run and no way you can hide to be basic anymore. That's just the era that we're living in now. But I digress. But anyways, the article also says I don't think this is likely to be a broadly systematic problem. If tech startups can't make payroll due to funds in the SVU, Silicon Valley Bank, being frozen, then it's just going to be one of those strange situations. Mark Cuban says there's little risk that SVB's failure will spill over to other banks. Um, and he says most banks currently have enough capital to absorb those losses because anything will absorb losses. However, large in part because of efforts taken by the Fed after the 2008 financial crisis to ensure financial firms can weather any storm. And on Saturday, FDIC asked officials at small and mid-sized lenders, including First Republic Bank, about their financial situations. Bloomberg reported they are reportedly discussed setting up a new special vehicle to reassure depositors and help contain any panic. So, in a sense, it's funny, but in a sense, it's not funny because well, in a sense, it's funny because I'm not, I hope the people who are in these situations retrieve their money, and hopefully that the institution SVB can hold its own and whatnot. But one thing I can say with sincerity is that one thing I can say with sincerity is that we are living in a time where you might want to keep some cash on you. Now, I'm a guy that doesn't like to keep a lot of cash on me, but you just never know. We are living in a time where it's going to be normal to see less and less mid-sized banks and whatnot. So with the um, increase in artificial intelligence, with the increase in more jobs going overseas, if not automated, because even more companies are utilizing people that don't live. Even smaller companies are utilizing, especially internet companies, are utilizing services from the Philippines and Central and South America and Africa to for customer service, for graphic specialists, IT specialists, things of that nature. People, it's like this one gentleman who has shoe catalogs. He has his own factory. I believe it's in India. So these are normal things. It's like, and that's why I said don't buy any politician feeding you nonsense about it's going to be like the good old days in the 1960s and 70s from an economic standpoint. Unless technology goes kaput, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But you're still going to have this group of old people thinking that factory jobs and coal mining is the wave of the future. I'm not knocking you if you're a coal miner. I'm not knocking you if you work in a factory and whatnot. But the blue collar jobs of today and tomorrow are ones in regards to the skilled trades. Period. I own property. I always need a skilled trade person to get something done. Skilled trades from the mechanics, working on trucks, working on any aspects of a home. The skilled trades. If you want going to be a blue collar worker, my mindset is do it right. Don't depend on a factory job and a coal mining job. You got to get certified in something that's going to be in need. It is what it is. All right. So that's just one thing I wanted to take into consideration and really just talk about because it's real. You know, it's really real out here, and in that aspect. But are we all going to die from this? No, not now, but possibly later. Because like I said, just because we living in times that where you got to be realistic about these things. So I can't put it any other way other than that. It's like in regards to what news has been happening. And then, with real estate, prices have gone down, even though the interest rates are still a little special. But, at the end of the day, um, but at the end of the day, um, the world is changing, and either you evolve or you disappear. When Tupac said that statement, he said it right. You evolve or you disappear. And a lot of people still want to do things the old way, and the old ways is not really going to get you anywhere anymore. So that's why I said don't listen to people who are talking old way foolishness. I really can't put it any other way on that aspect. So you got that issue with the banks, job market. You see a lot of jobs are being cut because of artificial intelligence, but it's all. I don't think what that me saying today's forecast we're all going to die. I think what you need to say to yourself is, okay, well, how can I make myself more valuable? Because there's a ton of jobs that are going to be eliminated within the coming years. How are you going to make yourself valuable? What value you're going to add? It's just like even having a freaking relationship and whatnot. Um, what value? Um, what value are you going to add? That's just what it is at the end of the day. Because even like I said, more and more people's relationships are being talked about how they're supposed to be talked about. Negotiations, business, that's what everything revolves around. Okay. Negotiations and businesses, period. And then another thing to take into consideration, how you making your money, how you saving your money, how you investing your money. Are you serious about your financial future? I can't answer that question. Only you can on some realness. Okay. So that's all that I have for today in regards to today's forecast. We're all gonna die. Um, I know that there's word that we're supposed to be going to war with China and Russia and things of that nature. That's always breaking news. It's like I told this time last year when I was in Dallas, Texas for my aunt's funeral. I told a guy, real nice guy from in down south in Dallas, Texas. Um, when the bombs go off in my backyard, then I worry. Till that time, I'm not worried. I just leave it at that. There's always talk of war. America's got one of the best militaries in the freaking world. That's one thing I can say. So, and when the bombs come going off in my backyard, then hey, then I'll start worrying. And then another thing, today's forecast, we're all gonna die. Believe that there was flooding in California. Now, California has actually had, in a sense, a great winter and in a sense a bad winter. Reason why it's been great is because you're talking about the state that's been forever having a drought. Okay. And they even predicted that this year they were going to get the most snowfall in the northern part of the state and the most rain. Um, and the fact that they've gotten floods, um, torrential flooding got worse and intense in California. It's like it's a gift and a curse, unfortunately. That's one thing I can say with sincerity. It's a gift and a curse because we're talking about a state that needed money. I mean money. We're talking about a state that has needed water for a long, long time. But they said up to 15 million people, um, especially because let's see what part of California. So another round of storms headed to flood ravaged California, where residents are still grappling and right. From Salinas Road to Highway 126, Watsonville, due to flooding. Okay, so it's in the Salinas area, and I know because of the dryness and the fires. When they get floods, they can open up grounds. I mean, heck, I remember in my old neighborhood in Virginia, it rained so bad that the ground opened up. So, definitely unfortunate. But I mean, it's like I said, and they said about 15 million people remain under flood watches in California and Nevada. But we're talking about parts of the country, like I said, to get to the curse, because the rainfall totals exceeding 6 inches are possible across portions of central and northern California. But we're talking about areas that have been desperate for water. So it's like I said, it's a gift and a curse all at the same time. So hopefully nobody got killed, nobody got hurt. But for the most part, that's all I have for tonight, family. Just wanted to keep it simple. And because it's during the week, I'm not going to go too long. But it's all good in the neighborhood. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's little program. Like I said, didn't have that much, but I'm definitely getting back into going to get back and doing this at least once a month, because can't believe I let 2 months go by. You know how it is. Just so much stuff happens. It's like, Lord have mercy, where's the time go? So, but it's all good. And hey, let me know what you in the comment section if you have anything in regards to today's forecast. We're all gonna die. One of those news articles that's supposed to scare the crap out of people, but it's really not that serious. So that's basically why I do this. I'm mocking the media. So I'll leave it at that. But anyways, if you're a stock market investor, crypto investor, individual retirement account investor, don't forget to check out WEBULL, Stash, AcornsCrypto.com, Coinbase, all those platforms. You'll be able to make some money moves. Definitely don't forget to check out the GS Partners, where you not only have the opportunity to buy crypto, but you have the opportunity to buy non-fungible tokens, NFTs. Make some money after you make your after referring somebody to affiliate marketing, and go from there. And thank you for those who contribute to the channel, meaning people who contribute to the Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Greatly appreciate it. I always put it back in the Larry's Anything Goes business. And thank you for those people who buy products off our online Shopify store. It's always greatly appreciated. And hey, it's all good in the neighborhood. So enjoy your life. You only got one. Stop watching the news so much, because like I said, their job for the most part is to keep you deaf, dumb, and blind, and to really just keep you scared, and more scared. All right, cannot put it anymore. Can't really put it any other way on that one, family. So it is what it is. Enjoy your life, and I'm out. Mike, now.